Sermon a Day. I am Pastor Tom Estes, and this is your 5-minute sermon for January 17th, 2013. The title of today's message is, Keep Your Eyes Right. In Proverbs chapter 4, verse 25, it says this, Let thine eyes look right on, and thine eyelids look straight before thee. It is amazing how difficult this can be in the life of a Christian. It seems like we want to look over here and look over there, and it's so hard for us to focus on God. It's so hard for us to focus on the ministry that God has for us. It seems like we would much rather focus on our favorite television show or on our favorite musical band or video game or favorite relationship or something, anything besides focusing where God would have us be. So what I want to look at are 3 things that we can do to help us keep our eyes focused where they need to be so that we can keep our eyes right. Number 1, if we are going to be able to keep our eyes right, we cannot be retrospective. We cannot live in the past. We cannot be always dwelling on what we used to do. Because what's going to happen is either we're going to be living with regret about the sin that we had back there, or we're going to be living in the glory days, and both can be damaging. We know what Paul wrote in Philippians in chapter 3 when he was talking about the fact that he was going to press toward the mark. He had a goal inside. He had an objective, and he was going to press toward that no matter what. If he was put in jail, he was going to press toward it. If he was beaten, he was going to press toward it. He was not going to let anything stop him from pressing toward the mark. And it seems that we have a lot of Christians, and many of them are living in the glory days and say, oh, I remember back in the 50s or in the 70s or in the 80s, back when things were so much better than they are now. Well, I tell you, things probably were better back then. Our nation was probably less psychotic than it is today. We would have never elected a man like Barack Obama 50 years ago. I think we all understand that. And we can look around at our society today and we see a bunch of lazy people that are just wanting to live off the government and want to turn their back on God. I understand that, but that still does not give us the right to just sit back and do nothing and live back in the glory days. Also, maybe you've lived a life of sin. Maybe you used to do drugs. Maybe you used to do alcohol. Guess what? If you've asked God to forgive you, He's forgiven you. And you know what He wants you to do? He wants you to move forward. He don't want you to live in the past. He wants you to serve Him and press toward the mark just like Paul did. The other thing that we cannot do is we cannot be introspective. It seems today that this modern humanistic philosophy wants us to look inside ourselves and find some kind of hidden meaning. They want you to find yourself. They want you to learn to love yourself. That's the biggest bunch of nonsense. And that's why we're creating an entire generation of people that are just introverted and introspective, and the only thing they care about is themselves. And let me tell you something, introspective Christianity is not Christianity at all. We don't need to be focused on us. We need to focus on everything but us. We need to focus on God first, of course, and then we need to focus on others. You know, it's not about our comfort. It's not about what makes us feel good. When God saves us, He saves us for a reason. And that number one reason is so that we can share the gospel with those around us, not so we can study ourselves and find out what makes us tick. What a joke that is. The third thing that we cannot be is we cannot be circumspective. You know, when Peter got out of that boat to walk to Jesus Christ, he was walking on water when he kept his eyes on the Lord, wasn't he? What a great thing that must have been. But then he started to see the waves billowing and the thunder and the clouds, and he began to sink. And that was that time where God had to grab him and raise him up. But when he kept his eyes on the Lord, he could do something supernatural. You see, what we do is we get circumspective. We look at our problems. We look at our difficulties. We look at the things that aggravate us. We look at the things that make us mad, instead of keeping our eyes focused on God. Maybe where you go to church, maybe there are some people there that are hard to get along with. You know what I would encourage you to do? Don't focus on them. Maybe there's a Sunday school teacher, and maybe for whatever reason they just kind of get under your skin a little bit. Don't focus on that. Focus on God. Maybe you have a family member that's always trying to get your goat and always trying to get under your skin and always just trying to make you angry. Understand that person is more than likely being sent by Satan to buffet you. And all you have to do for Satan to win is take your eyes off God and look at that person. Don't be circumspective. Don't dwell in the here and now. Think about the future. Think about God. Think about what He is going to do for us. And let's not set our affections on these things that are around us. Let's set our affections on things above. Let's live for eternal things. Let's live for heavenly things. And not be these people that just look around us and only are concerned with the here and now. I tell you what, one of the things that we must do in our lives is keep our eyes right. We must stay focused. And in order to do that, we cannot be retrospective. We cannot be introspective. And we cannot be circumspective. I want to encourage you today. Keep your focus on God. And I guarantee you, He will bless you. Alright, so that was your sermon for January 17th, 2013. I hope you'll give that some thought. I hope that you'll really examine where your focus is. And I just want to invite you to check out our website, southsidewinterhaven.com. And if you're ever in the Winter Haven, Florida area, please come and visit the Southside Baptist Church. We'd absolutely love to have you. And thanks again for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. God bless you and have a great day.